Right, well then, maybe I can proceed. Anyway, whether you acknowledge it or not, it appears to us that we have made a good case for the fact that he did establish an unusual system for initiation, which was not the traditional Gaudiya Vaishnava system of initiation in our Sampradaya. Now, that was done while he was on the planet. Now, when Srila Prabhupada made out his will, he mentions in one of the first sentences that this system of management, now I'm stressing this word management because the scriptural principle has to do with initiation. The specific means by which it's executed is more or less a detail of management. So he says here, this system of management will continue as it is now, and there is no need of any change. So the system, the practical system which he had set up in regards to initiation was the rtvik system. And here he says that this system of management will continue as it is now, and there is no need of any change. Now it would appear that what happened after Srila Prabhupada's departure was a significant change from what he had established. And what has happened since that time as a means of reform also seems to be a significant departure from what was going on while he was present. And I may just repeat several statements that you yourself made a few years ago. After Srila Prabhupada's disappearance for many years, the GBC systematically misrepresented Srila Prabhupada's teachings and instructions about carrying on the disciplic succession. And the GBC instituted, encouraged, and for many years belligerently and obstinately defended symbols, rituals, practices, teachings, and structures meant to create and perpetuate for a small group an elite status to which they were never entitled. Now, I think the question I would put to you, has anything changed since you wrote this?
The answer is yes. That I stand by what I said. The GBC represented to us, falsely I believe, that Srila Prabhupada had appointed 11 pure devotees who were to be the spiritual masters for the whole society, that they were the spiritual masters of their disciples, that they were essentially the spiritual masters of their godbrothers, that each of them was supposed to be the spiritual master for the people in a geographical zone of the world, that the business of that we could only get Prabhupada's mercy through those godbrothers, and a host of other ideas which are so thoroughly discredited that they're no longer even spoken about, practically speaking, in today's ISKCON. So the answer to, do I feel that the circumstances I spoke about then have changed, is yes.
If Yashodanandana Prabhu heard directly from Srila Prabhupada that the rtvik system should be installed, why did he wait so long to emphasize it instead of doing so in a paper mentioned by Ravindra, written in 1981?
A paper written by Ravindra in 1981. Could you perhaps get the facts?
Referring to the 79 paper. The paper I referred to. In other words, in 1979, you wrote a paper in Vrindavan. In 1981, I guess you were some participation in this bona fide spiritual master and disciple paper.
All the facts regarding that paper?
Only the facts that you told me. And one of them is that you're one of the authors.
You exactly know the circumstances behind that paper. Before you're alleging, first of all, the paper is here. Yeah. My name was never signed to this paper. I would like to state on record, this paper, the bona fide spiritual master and the disciple, was a reply to a paper that had been issued, several papers that had been issued by the leading members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in 78, 79, and 80. This paper does not contain my name. I never factually authored it. I never signed my name to it. I did write you a letter, by the way, but to the best of my knowledge and belief and recollection, the letter was not in 1984, because at that time I was already in Toronto, working for a law firm. The best of my knowledge and belief, my letter to you was 2 years earlier. Now, whether you have the original letter or not, I can't say.
It's undated, it's true.
But why did you, first of all, why did you state that I wrote it in 1984 when you did not have knowledge of the fact that it was in 1984?
Because it was written to me just after I got involved. 1984. Okay, that's why I said that. So it was a deduction because you didn't date your letter that it was 1984.
So it's an incorrect assumption.
It's an incorrect assumption if you didn't. I don't know if you remember any better than I do because it's not dated. And